What up, everyone? It's your boy Floz and welcome back to another episode of BeyBlade IRL. This time, we are going to try and figure out which of these three L-Dragos is the best. We obviously have the original Lightning L-Drago, we have its evolution, Meteor L-Drago, and we have its even further evolution, L-Drago Destructor. Being as it evolves constantly, L-Drago Destructor should be the best, but maybe these tests aren't going to heed those results. Who knows? As you probably know, L-Drago is a reverse rotation Beyblade that consists of 3 dragon's heads and a fusion wheel with 6 different blades, depending on the orientation of the dragon wheel. I forgot the name. The energy ring. How did I forget that for a minute? It can switch between a barrage mode and an assault mode. Not to mention, certain L-Dragos also have the ability to spin steel. That could definitely help it. But like with all these videos, gotta start with a quick stamina test. And they are off. All of them doing their usual, like, circling around the stadium thing. It looked for a minute like they were all in sync, and actually now it looks like they're all starting to get in better sync with each other. And actually, with these stamina tests, L-Drago, being a Beyblade that's meant to spin steel, has no bay that it can spin steel from, so it probably means it's going to last an even shorter time than it probably could. There's probably a better way to word that, but I'm just gonna go with that. Yep, they're all starting to slow down and make their way to the center. Lightning L-Drago has already made its way to the center, sings pretty steadily, it would seem. It looks like Meteor L-Drago is starting to stop a little bit, and actually he stops completely standing up, it would seem, at around 50 seconds. Lightning L-Drago is about to stop too at around 56 seconds, we'll call that. And L-Drago Destructor, yep, he's starting to do his little tilty whirly. There's probably a better name for that, but I'm just going to go with that. And he knocks out at around 1 minute and 9 seconds. So we're starting off something like this. Without its ability to spin steel, Meteor L-Drago does not really perform the best. Plus the fact that his performance tip causes him to lose stamina faster than others. Lightning L-Drago is a bit par for the course. L-Drago Destructor, I mean, he does have a survive performance tip that's meant to increase stamina. So, I mean, what else is going to happen? But now we're going to move on to the battles. And the first Beyblade that the L-Dragos are going to be going up against is Earth Eagle. One that I think they all fought Earth Eagle one time or another in the anime. I'm 80% sure. Earth Eagle is a pretty good defense and or balance type Beyblade. I still haven't figured that out. I should probably look that up. One thing I do know is that this Bey does have a decent amount of stamina. With all that stamina, could the L-Dragos steal that power and make it into its own? I think we're about to find out. Alright, Eagle is the first one to spread its wings against the L-Dragos. Eagle taking a more defensive stance toward the middle. L-Drago getting some fairly decent hits on Eagle, knocking him a little bit more off balance each and every time. But it looks like L-Drago's not going to have enough stamina to put forth much attack power behind the attacks. So really all he can do is just keep Eagle away from him until inevitably he runs out of stamina on his own. Or Eagle runs out of stamina first. But it looks like in this one, Eagle lasted slightly longer. Alright, round 2. Sorry, I forgot to pair L-Drago. Oh, L-Drago nearly got him out immediately. But now Eagle is more set toward the middle. L-Drago's getting a couple barrage hits on him, but nothing strong enough to completely knock him out of balance or out of the stadium. And now we're getting into a very similar state in the previous match, where L-Drago was in the middle, wasting his stamina, Eagle not surrounding him, circling him. Well, kind of the same thing. Point is, we're pretty much reaching the same point as we did in the previous battle. Both losing their stamina until inevitably L-Drago loses it first, with Eagle lasting slightly longer. The bird was mightier than the dragon in this fight. While Lightning L-Drago may be strong, Meteor L-Drago has rubber along his energy ring
that allows him to spin steal. I have to hold the goddamn stadium in place so they don't go flying out. Or move the stadium out of frame. But I will say that spin stealing is not going to do anything if he doesn't even make contact with his opponent. He is, however, slowly going down the slope of the stadium, and eventually he will make contact with his opponent. Probably in the amount of time it'll take me before I finish the sentence. Eagle is already starting to lose some of his balance, and you'd think L-Drago would have already stopped spinning by now, but you could hear some hits being slightly less than others. That's because of the spin stealing, which didn't really do much. If this one's going to be a bunch of ties, this may prove difficult. Oh! L-Drago got a couple more hits right off the bat, taking down Eagle's power a little bit more. But this also means as L-Drago goes down the slope, he's going to hit Eagle sooner. Oh, like that. See what I mean? But it seems that he's only hitting Eagle once he's faced down to him. He's not hitting Eagle when he's faced away. And Eagle's circling around him, not allowing him to be hit, actually doesn't allow for his spin to be stolen. Oh, wait. I take that back. The spin stealing is doing its job. But it still ends in about a tie. So now we just need to keep going until one of them stops before the other one. Again, gotta hold in place. But I think this time... I don't know why I'm saying this time. It still could go either way. L-Drago's about to make contact. His spin strength has already depleted a good amount. But the amount of barrage attacks against Eagle is also draining his power very fast. But the more he attacks Eagle, the more time he allows for his own spin strength to be depleted. But Eagle spun ever so slightly longer that time. Ever so slightly. By technicality, Eagle takes the battle. This L-Drago has a few more gimmicks, including that its performance tip is a survive performance tip, which it goes from a whole flat to a point so as to reserve stamina. And its fusion wheel, as opposed to its energy ring, has rubber this time. There's a hair right there, so I just went ahead and got rid of that. And it looks like L-Drago immediately started this battle in survive mode. Otherwise, he would have been racing around the stadium. Right now, he's just allowing Eagle to attack him, increasing his spin power, absorbing his attacks with the rubber. Well, that's what it looks like from here anyway. And as it looks like L-Drago is starting to lose speed, Eagle keeps attacking, further increasing the spin power while decreasing his own. But it looks like Eagle held on a little longer than L-Drago. Alright, time for another go. Alright, now L-Drago is racing around the stadium before he even gets into survive mode. So now it seems as though he's going to be wasting even more energy. And I don't think I need to hold it this time. He's not going as furiously as his counterparts. But Eagle, as usual, just sitting at the center of the stadium waiting for his opponent to come down to him. But as L-Drago's speed slows down, the survive performance tip should kick in, bringing him directly, yep, see, right there. You saw the moment when L-Drago stopped racing around, moved himself inward. And now we're having a little bit of repeat from the previous battle. But I don't think it's helping him all that much. If anything, it's actually more so detrimental. But, again, Eagle lasting ever so slightly longer. And Eagle goes ahead to sword of victory.
After reviewing everything, I think it's going to look something like this. Because after reviewing the battles, it would seem that Medio L-Drago was the only one that ever got any sort of tie with them. In the other battles, Eagle won very slightly, but he still won. Medio L-Drago was the only one who ever got any kind of tie. But between Destructor and Lightning, I think I'm going to have to say Lightning L-Drago did a little bit better because Eagle had less power at the end of his battles than he did versus L-Drago Destructor. That's just my take on things. Feel free to have your own takes. Alright, next up we're going to have battles that none of them went against. We have battles against Twisted Tempo. And I mean, like, the main reason I chose this Beyblade is because it is the heaviest Beyblade. I'm pretty certain. The Twisted Fusion Wheel should provide a lot of defensive power. Will that defensive power be enough to endure L-Drago's attacks or knock L-Drago back out of the stadium with recoil? Or will L-Drago's attacks be strong enough to just knock him out of the stadium? Let's see, shall we?
Now, one of the heaviest bays versus probably one of the lightest bays in all of the metal stock. Oh my! I was adjusting the stadium. I didn't even see which one did it. We're just going to call that one a tie and do another one. All right. Next battle. Tempo already looks like he's a little off balance. Oh, L-Drago's doing what he can to knock Tempo out. It does not look like it's working. We're seeing a very similar thing what happened between him and Eagle in the previous match. But the strong centrifugal force that Tempo exerts, I think he's going to have a better time withstanding L-Drago's attacks than Eagle did. That plus his immense weight. He is the most obese of Beyblades. And L-Drago down. For L-Drago to have any kind of redemption, he needs to win this one. It can't be another tie. Otherwise, Tempo would win. All being said, that was rather close. With Tempo's immense amount of centrifugal force and L-Drago's ability to spin steel, who knows how long these battles are going to last. Again, I think the only way Meteor L-Drago can truly get, like, a genuine victory against Tempo is to get a stadium out. But as it's going right now, Tempo is spinning steadily in the center, and Meteor L-Drago is just circling him. Until he makes, like, direct contact and starts stealing his spin power, not much is going to happen. But it looks like the process has already begun. But the question is, can L-Drago get enough hits in? It actually does already look like Tempo's spin strength is starting to wear down. But it doesn't look like it's doing all that much for L-Drago to win. And Tempo did spin a good bit longer that time. Even L-Drago stole his speed. Another tie is not going to cut it. L-Drago needs to win this one. Otherwise, Tempo gets it with a tie and a victory. The circling around the stadium is not helping L-Drago's case, though. Even just holding this thing in place, I can feel the vibrations start to lower as L-Drago slows down and goes towards Tempo. And you can hear the slight differences in the attacks. Metallic, obviously it's an attack, but if it sounds insulated, he's stealing speed with the rubber on his fusion wheel. And I'm actually not hearing a lot of the rubber attacks. I think Tempo is aimed too low. Yeah, actually, hold on, wait a minute. Tempo might actually. Oh no, I take it back. Tempo lasted longer. And Tempo takes the cake over Meteor. This one should be really interesting. The similar spin stealing gimmick, while also having this new performance tip, should prove to be an interesting battle against Tempo. But as usual, we're going to be starting with L-Drago racing around the stadium, waiting to reach Tempo at the very bottom. And it doesn't even look like Tempo's spinning. Well, I take that back. I mean, it does look like he's spinning, but I don't know how to explain it. I just want to see some gnarly battle action. L-Drago's spin speed is starting to slow down, which means the Survive performance tip should be kicking in any minute now. You'll be able to hear the slight difference. Yep, there it is. You'll be able to see the difference in performance as well. But I think Tempo is aiming at the moment when L-Drago leans himself away to kick him more off balance. It doesn't seem as though the rubber is having much of any effect. Tempo still seems to be performing at the same speed. L-Drago just going more and more off balance. Tempo still having a lot of spin strength left. Round 2. Probably no different at all, but let's see what happens. Oh, that's much different. Yeah, Tempo trying to climb back into the stadium to get another shot. He thought it was unfair. Which in all fairness, it might have been. But you know what? We're going to count that to make it a little more interesting. Oh, L-Drago was hitting the side of the stadium. I think he lost a good bit of power when he did that. That means survive mode should be kicking in even sooner now. Unless he hits Tempo before then. But I think... Oh, never mind. I was about to say Tempo is perfectly dodging him. But nope, L-Drago's getting some hits in. However, I don't think that's doing much to Tempo at all. Survive mode still hasn't kicked in. He's lost so much power already. Oh, wait. Oh, here's survive mode. But Tempo, as usual, aiming for when L-Drago lifts himself away. But there are more and more attacks being served now. Will that do L-Drago any justice? The answer is no. Tempo victory. I mean, Tempo is the god of time, so it makes sense.
Okay, this one I actually had a little bit of difficulty calling. But in the end, I think I'm going to go with something like this. Lightning L-Drago I am going to put at the bottom because even though it did get 2 dual stadium outs, it still lost one battle to Tempo, meaning Tempo won that. But between Meteor and Destructor, I think I'm going to do Meteor then Destructor. Reason being is because with Meteor L-Drago, he definitely took the power of spin stealing to the next fucking level. With Tempo having such immense centrifugal force, so much power to be stolen by L-Drago, the battle actually dragged on for quite a little bit. To a point where they were like very even at the end. But with that said, I think we're going to have to give L-Drago Destructor the gold medal in this one. Reason being is that it also did drain a good bit of Tempo's power, but it also did get a stadium out on Tempo, even though they all lost to Tempo in the end. L-Drago Destructor did perform the best in my opinion. Next up, and lastly, of course we had to do L-Drago's arch nemesis. But because there were 3 of them, I had to choose carefully. So I decided to go with the one that was right in the middle. And they are all going to fight Galaxy Pegasus. Which, in all fairness, Meteor L-Drago is the only one who ever fought Galaxy Pegasus. So, unfair advantage due to experience? Who knows? Let's see what's going to happen.
There was no other way to end this off. We had to do it against a Pegasus. L-Drago might have not had the best launch. But if he could just last longer than Pegasus, because I think they both might waste their stamina in this case. Although L-Drago is already starting to wobble a fairly good bit. Actually, then again, so is Pegasus. I take it back, this could go either way. Especially like a tie. Well, that was a tie. Are we going to see a repeat of what happened against Tempo? Maybe, but who knows? Oh, actually, L-Drago got a hit right there. Pegasus fell off the table. L-Drago needs one more win to claim a victory over Pegasus. But, what the? Oh, I saw some plastic fly. I think L-Drago sacrificed part of his body to win. Pegasus. But, what the? And yeah, he did. I don't know where, but there's a part right here where the plastic is just gone. He sacrificed part of his body for victory. Now he's a real G. With a theoretically stronger L-Drago against Pegasus this time. Oh. Yeah, something like that'll happen. I think with these two, the only contest is who's going to get flung out first. Oh. L-Drago got flung into the air a little bit, and kept getting flung into the air until they both eventually got flew at each other. Pegasus ragdolled L-Drago until he lost his own control. And L-Drago still flying through the air again. Oh, a little bit of Pegasus's paint came off. I think L-Drago needs to steal enough spin speed in order to last longer. Otherwise, it's Pegasus's victory if it's another tie. And it's another tie, so that means it's Pegasus's victory. Pegasus literally threw him around. This L-Drago is much heavier, so Pegasus should have a more difficult time facing him. But they are getting a couple hits, one right after the other, meeting each other. Plus, this L-Drago has a bit of a safety mechanism when fighting against a normal rotation types. Oh, wait a minute. Forget more difficult time. That was actually rather shocking. A Pegasus victory over the more evolved L-Drago is rather interesting. I think, I was about to say I think survival kicked in instantly for L-Drago, but then again, maybe it didn't. Now being tied 1-1, it all comes down to this. Both got a couple of direct hits on each other. L-Drago is not letting Pegasus build up speed, but doing so, I think that took away most of L-Drago's spin power. That one was rather a tie. So now it's really down to this one. Okay, I think L-Drago has been moved into survive mode. But I think Pegasus is exerting too much energy. But I also don't think he's able to... I don't think he's high enough to hit the rubber. And again, closer to a tie. 5th battle overtime. Alright then. We'll do that. Oh, stopped each other dead in their tracks. Exchanging blow after blow. This time, I don't think L-Drago's letting Pegasus get underneath him. Yet he has more of a defensive guard this time. Aiming himself downwards to Pegasus. Not letting him attack, but that caused him to slide along the ground, making him stop first. Pegasus won that one more so by L-Drago dooming himself.
As usual, battles between L-Dragos and Pegasi, now whatever the plural is, does not disappoint. But I think after all that, I think this is what it's going to look like. Because, I mean, even though Lightning L-Drago did sacrifice part of his body to win, I do think I didn't do enough battles. I think I only did 2. But, you know, it was still good. With Medio L-Drago, he did get himself flung out of the stadium. Then there was a dual flinging out of the stadium. And then it was just a dual sleep out. So he did not put up as much fight or as much damage as the other L-Dragos did. Even amongst himself. So I think Medio L-Drago is going to go to the bottom. And L-Drago Destructor at the very top. For being rather equal with Pegasus in my opinion. Because I don't remember if... All I know is that L-Drago won once. Then Pegasus won twice. And then there were 2 ties. I forget if L-Drago knocked out Pegasus. I don't remember. Point is, this is what the scores look like for this round. And in total, here is your winner of what the best L-Drago is. Was it the one you were expecting? Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. But at least now we have our answer. These videos are always fun for me to do, so if you want to see more like them, please leave a like, and I can't wait to see you all in the next one. Until then, I've been Floz and G. This has been BeyBlade IRL. Can't wait to see you later.